Please spread the word about my shows. I'm an independent creator and I would really appreciate it. I make K-pop guides, as well as I have exclusive interviews with songwriters, journalists, the artists themselves, best new music roundup episodes, artist-specific deep dive episodes, episodes about the history of K-pop. All sorts of content is covered. So to get your fill and support an independent creator, please check out 17 Carat K-Pop wherever you get your podcasts, and view an episode guide at howtostan.substack.com. Hello everybody! Welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. Thank you all so much for your patience last week. As I said in my Substack memo, last week was an official mourning period for those killed and injured in the Itaewon Halloween celebration crush, that crowd crush, and it just didn't feel right to release content last week because of observing that mourning period. A lot of K-pop acts postponed their releases, and so why not 17 Carat K-Pop follow suit? So much content backed up, waiting to be released. First up is my list, the top 20 best releases of October, and stay tuned till the end where there are tons of honorable mentions, as always. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. Here is number 20. Meme Tokyo, River's End. It's really hard to summarize Meme Tokyo, but I'm gonna try anyway. They're basically an amalgamation of a bunch of hyperpop artists, some K-pop girl groups with a punk edge, Blackpink sense of fashion, and some J-rock girl group vibes, all in one. Electronic pop at warp speed with a funky, eccentric sense of style, a very in-your-face confidence, eye-popping videos full of unexpected twists and bright colors, attention-grabbing stunts. They make a huge impact with just one song. They do it again here with River's End. And what really struck me is how much it sounds like the cadence of Piri by Dreamcatcher. Listen to Piri by Dreamcatcher, then River's End by Meme Tokyo, and it'll sound like Piri was put through a disjointed machine. Like given 10 different makeovers, 10 different remixes, and came out the other side and was applied here. So it's not like they copied, but there's something there that's similar at the core. And I just thought that was interesting and it just caught my ear. And I love Piri. It's one of Dreamcatcher's best. Number 19. Millet, Final Call. Alright, as you know, and have known again and again, if you're a longtime listener, you know I adore Millet, one of my all-time favorite J-pop artists, one of my all-time favorite soloists, period. I think she's incredible. Her raw vocal, her command of just controlling the direction of her songs, using her voice to the fullest as its own instrument, its own conductor guiding the instrumentals. Her songs are such a symphony, such a musical, such a production. And her voice is a big part of that. I wrote about this extensively on my Substack, shameless plug. I just think she's an incredible artist. And she continues to just have this really unique, commanding presence on this song. The song's all about, you're never gonna break me. Don't waste your time, I'm immobile, when it comes to trying to push me in the wrong direction. The visual is really striking too. Aesthetically, really smart choices were made because at first it's this image of her projected on the screen behind her. The screen falls, bright lightning lights up the sky behind her. We have this nighttime cityscape. She just suddenly looks very small by comparison to what's happening behind her. Something to read into there. As well as with her all-white outfit, the snow, and then the white letters, the white text that covers her. All this white is really striking against all this black background. Smart to bring home the message about her feeling like she's at a big dramatic climax. Something big is about to happen, so listen up, kind of a thing. The veneers are falling away. Number 18. Jo Yuri, Op 22, Waltz in Minor. I love the quote she said inspired this album. She was on the phone with a friend who said, quote, "A clumsy person is more lovable than a perfectionist," unquote. Good thing I'm both, but I like the basic premise there. You're actually more fun to be around if you're a klutz over fretting about not being perfect. Being willing to mess up is a good thing. And this whole album has a really sweet message of self-love, self-forgiveness, just putting yourself out there and being the best you are, the best you can be just by being yourself. That's your superpower. The music video brings that home in really cute ways, where all that she has to do to show off this superpower and improve others' lives is nothing grand. Just be herself and be thoughtful. She puts together some bubble soap that she slips into the town fountain. Everyone just dances and smiles underneath a barrage of bubbles. She secretly helps a little boy basically cheat to win the balloon pop so he can get the stuffed animal. She just has all these pure intentioned things she does to make people's day. And that's all she needed to be lovable. And that's what she encourages you to remember too. I also think the songs are just an interesting vocal showcase, showing her skills but also just unexpected in some ways. Like how it ends almost like the sound is getting pushed backwards. I don't know how else to describe it, but some unexpected instrumental pivots for sure. Number 17. Say the name, 17. 10, Birthday. Look, I really liked the song Paint Me Naked. But the focus was on his fashion, his fun fashion, I think. Now, I do like the focus back on his dance skill, like in Dream in a Dream. It's just nice to see the choreography get the spotlight. He wears dark colors, dark backgrounds, dark everything. The focus is supposed to just stay on this very fluid, sensual choreography. This is actually the song, if it sounds familiar, it's because it was teased in an episode of Great Dance Crew back in the spring. He actually worked on this choreography himself with Bada Ali, and he said he really wanted to create a routine that looked kind of like mobile art, like a walking exhibit. Something very different from the standard group formations, the go-to cool elements of a performance that he has in groups. And he further made sure he showed his individual flair here because he picked out his wardrobe for this, switching between suits and the hat with the veil. So this is a very 10 release. And so I'm very happy for him to get to show off his moves and, of course, his high notes. Number 16. AB6, Take a Chance. They continue to impress me by how signature their sound is. It's very consistent, but very specific to them. I can just tell when it's an AB6 song on a playlist. They just have that something. And they just have a very fun, happy, party-ready feel to this release. The sound effect-filled opening. They have some more substantive, subject-wise songs, but they still keep up the fun, still danceable, or at least shimmyable. And then it ends with the super happy chants. They just mix this playfulness, all their own, into every track, and they exude this likability in the Sugarcoat video, full of just pretty pastels, lots of sweets. They look very sweet as they pose with sweets. They rock some double denim. What's not to like? There's also kind of a weird moment at the end where one of them is like a giant lurking over this little, now seemingly toy-sized candy shop they've been in, so it's a lot of fun. Number 15. Luli Lee, Fade Away Like a Dream. This whole album has a real dreamy haze over it. It's very atmosphere setting, very specific tonally. She's got these dreamy, echoey vocals across still a variety pack of sounds. There's some industrial rock, a rock ballad, danceable, more pop stuff, indie rock sounds, percussion focuses at times, guitar focuses at times. It ends with just some light pop fun. It's quite a journey. You have to listen to it in order for the full effect. My personal favorite might be the introductory track with its industrial rock. Really wasn't expecting it, and I just really loved it. Lots of talent here, and a very distinct musical identity is something I always appreciate. Number 14. The Rose, Heal. I am so happy for them, finally getting the attention they deserve, the new management they deserve, the new global promo they deserve, the venue upgrades they've gone on for this tour. Really just very happy to have kept my eyes on them since the early days. This album really is a rebirth for them. Now that they are in a better place mentally and just in terms of actual material support as a group, you could tell this was the product of their evolution, what they've been through, and coming out the other side of it, feeling whole again. This album is the product of a 10-day writing spree they went on in Joshua Tree. They recorded this over 10 days, really focused on sharing a new, emotionally raw layer of their life story with fans. They exchanged notes, took this 10-day period to just reflect on where each individual member has been the past few years, catching up and getting ready to put their heads together and start again. And I love that they made the title track sour because it's a candy metaphor, just like in the song Candy from Void back in 2018. So as they embark on this super new path, they don't forget where they came from, and they have a special indirect shout out to a past era that long-term fans can appreciate. Who the Rose really are, that hasn't gone away, it's just evolved. As has their sound, which is quite more of a soft rock bent this time. I was expecting more of a fast-paced, high-tempo situation like in Void, or in California, Red, etc., but this is just very surprisingly, consistently soft rock. There's Definition of Ugly Is, which is about feeling like you can't fit in anywhere. Seesaw, wondering if you can make it better, you can make your situation better. And then the outro is, We'll Make It Better. Other songs further compound that message of, maybe I can do this, but I need your help. In wanting reciprocal affection, reciprocal concern shown towards you, consolation, we're in this together still. I still need you, basically, they're admitting. I think some of my favorite lyrics here are from Cure. Like, quote, clouds paint the naked sky tonight. I just want to feel the world around me more and more. 'Cause everybody fears the one they can't cure. Just tear the page, spoken parts, without a single word, recover us, unquote. That's kind of almost Shakespearean, the way they use a slant rhyme. They rhyme more and cure. By changing the pronunciation, you make it rhyme. Well done. Then there's a song about time, healing things but acknowledging it won't happen overnight on the song time. They end with yes. That says, quote, sometimes we gotta let it go. Just say yes. Open your mind. Go with the flow. Just say yes. Look at the stars and watch it glow. Unquote. Another lyric I love, quote, just walk with me. Side by side, sharing our time. You can tell me the stories that you left behind. Help me help you. Open up your mind. Unquote. So yeah, this album overall is just perfectly titled Heal, because it's about healing themselves and starting anew, as much as it is about reaching out a hand for fans to rebuild and apply this message to their own life. Apply these lyrics to their specific situation, and know that the Rose are right there with us as we walk down our separate paths, encountering separate obstacles, but go in the same direction towards hopeful futures. Number 13. Les Seraphim, Anti-Fragile. Okay, first of all, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I am loving the American Girl winter catalog energy of the photo shoots. Love it. I do love also how this sophomore release builds on their first release well. Keeps up the same theme for this relatively new group to keep showing us who they are, their signature, confident, self-love themed premise. They really help solidify the image they delivered with their debut, with their fashion sense, but also with the juxtaposition, like showing off what's stereotyped as delicate or feminine behavior, with scenes where they're with boxing gloves on, or other scenes that are stereotyped as maybe them doing more masculine or aggressive things. They show off that variety of themselves, their multitudes again. And also reinforce just how much they're going to do their own thing no matter what, because an asteroid's heading toward Earth in the video, and they're just like, whatever, let's dance it out. Big Make It by 2 p.m. video energy. Sonically, it's also interesting, because it is both very distinct and very similar to Fearless. With the hushed delivery, a lot of parallels, but also they go for a more reggaeton twist. They continue to have this signature image, but still show off variety. I also love the trend they've hopped on. Well, actually, the denim on denim seems to be a thing in K-pop lately, with IVE performance outfits, AB6IX's new video, etc. But I also love the fuzzy hat trend. Maybe polarizing, but I'm one of those people who is here for it. The new bucket hats in K-pop videos, big fuzzy hats, like Jo Yuri did, Blackpink, Mamamoo, the accessory of the moment. Shout out to Salem Elise, who worked on good parts. The best song, though, I think is Hydra. And I do like Festival, which is kind of a Ring My Bell by Billy vibe. Number 12. Lil Boy, Meantime. This album is a really interesting vibe, and on some songs like Wake Up, it's Tyler the Creator meets DPR Ian. Very hard to put into a box, genre-wise, style he's going for. A lot of sonic influences are clear, and I love the way the album just flows. It flows, it's succinct, yet it keeps meandering. It's like a long walk where you get lost, you don't know where he's gonna go. Probably a better analogy for this, but I just think the album, if you listen to it in order, it makes for an interesting ride. Number 11, Kihyun, Youth. Kihyun basically did what I loved about his debut, Voyager, again, in a different way. Because the strong suits of Voyager were that he covered a wide variety of sounds in just a couple songs, really let his voice go all across the map. He also kept the focus on his voice. The video plot was kept to a minimum to do that. And the third thing that made Voyager a strong debut, in my opinion, was the way he took a theme that's very vague and very specific. Voyager has a definition, but can be interpreted and applied to a bajillion situations. He found a term to summarize a comeback that would allow him to personalize the delivery of that theme and be universally relatable. It's a good way to go to start out strong as a soloist. All of that he does again with Youth. He covers a lot of sound for just a few songs. He also once again lets his voice just impress you beyond belief by keeping the music video kind of minimal. The main symbol is pretty obvious. He's standing on a playground, reflecting on his youth, what he wants to tell his younger self. And lastly, youth is another keyword, like Voyager, that is super broad, super personalizable, and both allows him to make this comeback his own kind of diary, talking to his past self, and still quite relatable, so all listeners can feel emotionally attached to this release. Number 10. Sulgi, 28 Reasons. This is one of those songs I'm going to make a shout out of the day on an upcoming episode to really focus in on and dive into. Stay tuned for that and read more of my thoughts about it, coming soon to howtostand.substack.com. Number 9. Jin, the Astronaut. I just have to analyze in the context of being an army because it is so extra meaningful when you think of it that way. Because first of all, Jin's whole origin story is he just wanted to be an actor. Scouted on the street, he ended up becoming a trainee for a band, but that was not what he ever set out to do. But he ended up finding a new home with BTS, discovering this love of music, that he could do it and that it helped innumerable people. He saw the power of music from an early time in the group. A happy accident turned out really wonderful. And he developed this irreplaceable relationship with the fans. That's actually why he decided to enlist when he did. He really wanted to in the summer. He talked on a live stream about how he really wanted to enlist in the summer because he didn't want to deal with the cold months. Doesn't like the cold. But he didn't want to miss out on an opportunity to have one last hurrah with fans first at a scheduled October show in Busan. And he also didn't want to enlist before it and come back for it and leave fans feeling all sad, knowing it was just a temporary return. He just worried about timing to make Not a Sad Vibe cover the BTS shows. So he chose to enlist in the winter instead of summer, just for ARMY's sake, which is the sweetest thing. And I also love what Coldplay said when they introduced Jin, because they worked on this song for him. They introduced him as part of a Buenos Aires show where he sang the live premiere of The Astronaut. And I love the intro they gave him. I'm going to skip around a bit because it's lengthy, but here's part of it. Quote, "A few years ago, I felt like we had to play a certain kind of music all the time. We had to fit into a box. I felt that way about my life also. And I met some good people and read some good books and met some great teachers, and they seemed to be happy. And the thing that made them happy was not having fear of what you don't know and people you don't understand yet. You just ask. And one way that really blessed my life and our life as a band is that about 2 years ago, someone suggested to us that we should work with a Korean boy band. At first I was full of judgment, and after a while I was like, why do I feel scared about this? Just because they're different? They make different music? And so we went down this road and we did a song together called My Universe. And it's turned out to be one of the most fun, fulfilling relationships that we've had as a band. And it's taught us so much about just embrace the other rather than be scared of it. And so one of their members called me up and said, I have to leave the band in December. I need a song that says goodbye to everybody, that tells them I love them. Because like all bands, we need you. It's you that really does everything. It's you that's the magic. And so I said, okay. And instead of being worried about it, I felt so excited, so grateful for this relationship, unquote. The song is about an astronaut who accidentally lands on Earth, didn't plan to, and has to make Earth his new home. While he's on Earth in the video, he does make himself at home. Feels like he's really found where he belonged all along. And now he has to go away for a while, but not before helping teach a little girl to ride a bike without training wheels. Once he feels confident she can do it without his supervision, he goes away for a while, promises to be back, and feels as powerful of a love and a force compelling him to come back as ever. So you have to understand that really meaningful context to really fully appreciate the song, because it's just such a perfect send-off before he enlists. So perfect for Jin and his journey. Same with Coldplay. They took a chance. They challenged their preconceived notions. They're judging a book by its cover instincts. And they ended up with a special long-term partnership, making music with BTS. Number 8. Lee Chang-hyuk, Error. Love in the press conference for this solo album that he stressed that ACMU is not going anywhere. That his time doing solo stuff has no bearing on ACMU. It's interesting because he actually said at that same press conference that his idea for this solo album really started to come together for him during ACMU promo for their song Bench. Because Bench is kind of about, I could die happily with not much. I just need my special bench, a symbol of freedom to be here, and a sense of just being loved, having a place to belong, or at least not feel like I don't. And then he thought, as they were promoting that song, that's kind of a lie. Like, I don't really feel that way. I actually do want more than just love and freedom to feel full and to get satisfaction in life. But maybe I should adopt that kind of mentality more as the person I'm pretending to be in Bench. Hence the name of the album, Error, like that train of thought of his was an error. He should correct it to be more grateful. He started then conceptualizing new ways of thinking about not just how you live your life, but the concept of life itself. Not sure if it's coincidence, but it's quite fitting that he chose to release this right around Day of the Dead, because he said part of the objective with this theme of contemplating your mortality, how you spend your time on Earth, is the thought of death being associated with so much darkness and sadness, when that's not wrong, but you can also see it as a joyous celebration of someone's life. And he kind of wanted to break the taboo, simplistic assumptions surrounding how to talk about mortality. This is a really exciting concept album, where the first few songs set the scene of his death. Then in the single Panorama, which you'll see in the music video, a big transformation happens, and it's like a new Chang-hyuk is born. He's a great actor in the video too, showing this paralyzed with fear state physically, while mentally he still implies his mind is going a mile a minute on his final deathbed basically. Thinking of so much he still wants to do with his life, and then getting that chance as a new Chang-hyuk. Then the rest of the album keeps the story moving, talking about the ways he's spending, or thinking about spending, his final days on Earth, which are also his new days on Earth, his first, as this new version of him. It's extra kind of meta because he does his own backup vocals. So he's singing and he's also this echoey background voice accompanying himself. With only one collab on here with Chunha, the rest is him supporting himself. The songs do have the interesting array of tones that come with the array of emotions he associates with thinking about mortality. There are more atmospheric, whoa, I can't believe this, amazed moments, astounded moments at how weird life can be. There are moments that are more just trying to embrace and live it up, upbeat moments. And then there are songs like Missed Call that are kind of ominous, unsettling. And it ends with Funeral Hope. What a way to go, pun intended, because he ends the album with kind of another death, like his character dies again. But that's an interesting title that juxtaposes the end with another beginning. So if you play the album on loop, it is like a loop. It's a cyclical story where his character dies and comes to life, dies and comes to life in new forms. It's basically the synth musical for reincarnation. I also like the self-interrogation he keeps up throughout the album, like on Castle in My Dream, where he basically admits, I still want more than just that bench, than just the bare minimum to be happy. I want to be a freaking king. I want to host some parties. I want to live it up while I'm here. Number 7. Fakey F. This album is a great mix of pre-release songs that were released quite a while ago. One actually 99, still their best song probably to date, and that came out last year. I named it in one of my best songs of the year lists. but they mix it with a lot of new jams too. So it's a great variety for long-term fans to get something new and new fans to catch up. They have a lot of just totally what girl group bops eternally are made of. Girls Gotta Live, Wonderful, The Light, super retro and jovial. That's the vibe they also go for with the end of the album. They also just cover kind of every flavor you want in a good girl group release. Girl groups that just rock, the fierce confident songs mixed with fun girls night out dance songs mixed with some more emotional stuff with nice harmonies. I love Antidote because it reminds me of a very underrated flash in the pan girl group that was Jeju with Moonlight. It sounds like Jeju's Moonlight when they sing Antidote, and I love that. I also love New Age. The EDM beat goes off. Then there's an interesting mix of strings and synths. In some songs, My Story is a good one for fans of D-Day by Wheaton. Overall, though, I think my personal favorites are Girls Gotta Live, 99, New Age, and Antidote. Number 6. Mamamoo, Mic On. Moonbyul made a good point when she said actually, you can think of the title as both Mic On and M space icon. You could put the space there after the M or the C, and it makes sense. Truly, it was so exciting to see all four of them back together after doing some solo stuff. They really just celebrate being back together. They rock a new dance routine that looks super fun. They have the time of their lives, partying it up in both the Alayla video and the one for 123 Oi, EOI, where they're just having a girls' night out, singing karaoke, playing games together. And they also further remind us we're back and better than ever as a group with the references to themselves, their past selves. Now that is an ultimate boss move. Sample yourself. And they do that on LEIC with oh ah yeah being incorporated into it. Then they reference their group catchphrase, and elsewhere on the album, they have a lyric about a starry night, the name of one of their singles. In the title track, Ilela means to cause an incident, like to really start something, get it going. And in their context, they use the term to talk about getting a date started. Time to get flirty, no more coyness, let's just go, let's party, let's just live, YOLO, let's make stuff happen. And the big sound of the song just adds to the both dance party feel and the theme of just being daring and putting yourself out there. Number 5. Trident, DX, spelled D-X. This Japanese rock girl group really just blows me away, and this time really, even more than usual. They just go hard. It's really fast-paced, really intense, really headbang-worthy, but they do kind of have some variety. They throw on top of their metal sound some electronic flourishes and other fun details. They just have really well-made, high-quality work. And the defiant themes in their work that are just perfect for a group called Trident and for the rock genre, period, like what they call the rotten preconceived notions in their social order, in Spoopy, which is a great pre-release option. Cry Out deserves a shout out because it's really well done with the just in-your-face percussion, yelling, and the backup voices add onto the mood very well. It's immersive to listen to. My favorite song, though, is probably Answer, just subjectively. And it's really smart they end with Signal, which kind of relatively is more of a pop structure, but still kind of metal sounding, and it has this nice vocal variation. They show off what they're made of at the very end. Number 4, Dreamcatcher, Apocalypse, Follow Us. This is another one I am definitely diving into in a shout out of the week segment on an upcoming episode. So stay tuned for that to talk all things Apocalypse Follow Us and check out more of my thoughts coming soon about this release to howtostandoutsubstack.com. Number 3. Say Cinema. Say with 2 A's. Cinema, S-I-N-E-M-A. Alright, full disclosure and shameless plug. I recently interviewed her, gained some new respect for her from her thoughtful answers. That's at howtostandoutsubstack.com and 17caratkpop.weebly.com. But aside from that, I am very impressed genuinely with this album. I agree with her that it is her best yet. She clearly worked very hard on it. It's nice and lengthy. I love an EP as much as the next person, but a real full-length album that is very full. longer track lists sometimes are very appealing to me, just to listen straight through to something that lasts a long time. And this is a great soundtrack for an afternoon. If you just want to feel swept away by her mesmerizing voice, some smooth R&B and pop jams with a lot of unexpected elements, electronica flourishes and stuff, lots of sassy attitude, so many layered instrumentals and genres it borrows from, but it still makes for a very cohesive, impressive, vocally stellar release. Number 2, Stray Kids, Maxident. I talked about Maxident so much in a whole episode about it, called Maxident Thoughts and Theories. So for my full breakdown about that album, check out that previous episode of 17 Carat K-Pop, wherever you get your podcasts. Drumroll please for number 1. (G)I-DLE, I Love. I really broke down why this release is so impressive and powerful at howtostand.substack.com. Wrote a whole essay about it because it really does blow my mind. It was just such an impressive way to go off of the themes of I Never Die. What I get into in that writing is how I Never Die really laid the foundation for this. I Never Die was about them coming into their own, reclaiming their narratives, feeling like the main characters in their story, and refusing to let others continue to cast them as villains. This album now turns the focus back on the audience. So instead of scrutinizing themselves and trying to give themselves a pep talk, they try to talk to and persuade other people. They try to get the public to see the error in their ways. And instead of criticizing and scrutinizing themselves, they scrutinize the broader society. So basically, instead of on I Never Die, which was about reclaiming their narrative, coming into their own, I Love is criticizing the people and situations that made that process necessary, that kept them facing obstacles before they could become main characters in their own story. They criticize the public, the tabloids, etc., for making it so hard of a journey for them to have stepped into their own in the first place. I also want to give a shout out to some of the ways I think they unintentionally reference I Never Die. Like before, in Liar, they talked about being high priced like a diamond shine. Now in Nude, they talk about a tiara with a diamond. I also see parallels between their I Never Die track, Polaroid, and the new track Change, about reflecting on the past, wanting to cherish those memories and recapture that magic. Previously, they said, looking forward to your wedding, and now, in the new song Love, they say, wanna be married, it was crazy. I was dreaming about marrying you, and now, I'm like, glad I dodged a bullet there, didn't want that at all. They're more critical now about their past relationships and what they truly deserve, which is more than what they got. I also think it's possible the think outside the box reference could also be a nod back to the movie TV screen references in I Never Die, talking about watching in a movie theater this story unfold. Just a theory, but no matter what, both clearly and maybe conspiratorially, you can interpret this album in so many ways, but at the end of the day, the ultimate message is (G)I-DLEs. It's a story on their own terms. More on my website about this release, including breaking down the meaning of the Banksy art reference in the video, as well as some other notable details. They really are a group for the ages. Now for some honorable mentions. Obtention, Codename Arrow. I really like the title track, What If Love, but other than that, the best song you have to check out is Flash. But overall, it's just a nice mix, very impressive voices, a rad bass line in the title track, funky synths in Bloom, and Starlight, then there's the more slow and dramatic Rewind. Nice variety. Treasure, The Second Step, Chapter 2. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed, 1 because I wanted a full album, not 5 songs, and 2 because clearly the music video budget for Hello was the same as it was for Going Crazy, as in, not much, saving it for the other video, for the unit track, so I was just underwhelmed. Sometimes a music video, aesthetically or just story-wise, is what gets a release for me from honorable mention status into my top 20. In this case, other candidates did that, but not Treasure. It's a worthwhile release to check out, though. As is another honorable mention, We-I, Love Part 2, Passion. My big recommendation from this is Higher Ground. It's just got a very distinct rock sound mixed with chanting and this jovial flair. They are loudly declaring their love for someone. There's a similar celebratory vibe in Special Holiday, which just compares daily life to a vacation, trying to just enjoy your life in the little things that make you smile. There's the flirty Latin song Rose, comparing a loved one to a rose. The holiday, the rose, they use a lot of metaphors here. They also do with the title track, which is Spray, and they say they mean that as like spray paint, painting a lover on canvas. And then the unofficial translation of the last song's title is Umbrella, another metaphor about wanting to be there when a loved one needs you, on metaphorical rainy days. Kepler are back with Troubleshooter. Frankly, I just think Wa-Da-Da was it, and nothing has topped it since. But We Fresh is nice too. It's a good title track choice, but I probably would have picked Lion Tamer, honestly, for a title track. Then there's a more mature pivot for Downtown. There's a slower turn for Dreams, and there's a very memorable spatial sound to The Girls. I do love the wardrobe in the We Fresh video. It seems like they borrowed from Lightsum's dress code for the Alive video, which I'm very here for. June really got my attention with the album Love Sign, not just because it's got a nice variety to it, jazzy vibes, some mellow stuff, very kooky piano, doing his own backup vocals. There's quite a mixture of vibes and energy levels. But really, the song that got me thinking was the title track, I Got You. Please tell me I'm not the only one who sees this. That leading actor in the video for I Got You, identical to Jamie Campbell Bower. Definitely Jamie Campbell Bower's long-lost cousin or something. I mean, to me the resemblance is striking. But anyway, maybe that's just how I see people. I like the video because of that lookalike, but also because other parts of the video are nice to look at too. It's a mix of aesthetics. You got this quaint bakery type setting, wallpaper, a sunshiny kitchen. There are some scrapbook aesthetics, a stop motion feel to some scenes. They turn into paper dolls of sorts at one point, just very storybook-esque, and quite a collage of material used. The thing that left it a little lacking for me is that there's not really a moral. This girl uses her special pink powder, her love potion, in her baked goods that she serves this crush. And he does fall in love with her because of that, and they have a nice life together. But it's not like there's a moment where we find out the magic powder didn't actually work, and he really loved her the whole time. Or a special moment like that, where she realized she didn't need the powder to have someone fall in love with her. There's not really a special moment like that. No moral, just happily ever after you slip powder into someone's cake order. While we're talking about smooth vocalists though, June A's new album Natural, he really shines across that. What's not to like? He's got a great voice, great guitar-based sound. He adds more layers and personality to Done, so that was the right call for the title track. Actually, the album flow is really well done. It's almost like it does have this intentional rising action. The climax with Done honestly is like the falling action, and then Regret, this slow guitar backtrack, with some top-tier notes hit, by the way, ends the movie. Apex, Prelude of Love, Chapter 1, Puppy Love. Love, love, love. The fact Moo said the theme of this release is the way people express love differs, but at the end of the day, it's still love. Love is a universal language. And this comeback actually drew inspiration from a Korean folk tale called First Love's Law. The whole album does have that Valentine's Day approved theme, very crush-themed, puppy love-themed anthems. A lot of chanting, a lot of group singing. I've noticed with Apex that's kind of one of their signatures. While some K-pop groups have one artist, one solo member sing after another, Apex just has everyone sing as a group more than usual. BB, Sweet Sorrow of Mother. I always look forward to her releases, not because I'm a personal fan of all of them musically, but visually. I always know I'm in for a treat, a mini movie of sorts where she takes on a totally different character. And I got that with all 3 tracks. She's this flirty, confident star in Speed 24. In Animal Farm, which was a pre-release from last month, she's the Kill Bill character. Singing some really profound lyrics about this dance of stuffed pigs. I sing to death the song of lies. Dance along to death, the center of the grand feast. To whom does the rolling head belong? Kind of a critique of a dog-eat-dog world. She says, am I a tiger or a gazelle? What have we lost? Is it a farm? Is it a society? Etc. Really profound. And then the other character, for Sweet Sorrow of Mother, she's just like an old school singer on stage at like a dinner theater kind of situation. And she sings in a way that truly will knock it out of your head. That song played in my head all day long after listening to it. It's almost kind of hypnotic, or like a kid's lullaby where it just feels so ingrained in your head that you don't see it ever leaving, which is fitting because that song is about leaving traces of yourself on someone, imprinting an impact without you realizing it. Jamie, One Bad Night. My favorite is the first track, Girls, very vibey. All the songs kind of are, and they show this newly extra confident side to her that is very exciting to see her step into and feel like she really owns it. It's her authentic confidence now. She's not faking it. In My Bag is kind of interesting how she uses this different vocal delivery and has this electronic filter over her voice. The best display of just her pure vocal talent is on Bedtime Story, and it's also nice on the piano ballad, Honesty. Park Ji-hoon excelled with The Answer. I love how he intentionally dyed his hair back to red to bring back the energy and vibe of his first release. Nicely played. A very intriguing cinematic character introduction is afoot in the Nitro video. And throughout each song, his deep husky voice just really shines. It automatically makes the song more interesting if he's the one singing it. The song he specifically wanted to shout out most is Fame. He said that's a personal favorite for the mood it creates. Speaking of vocal skills, Wonho delivers on Bittersweet. Loved the duality with Don't Regret, the big dramatic rock number, and then on with the dance video and the happier, more hopeful feel. Kingdom are back with History of Kingdom, Part 5, Louis. Love the intro Requiem. Probably the most, honestly. Their instrumentals on their own are just really impressive. Love the attitude in Jackie Y's Go Back. It goes off, the beat is just perfect. Her rapping is just so rapid and next level and so confident. The video is so fun, she's really DIY'd the heck out of her outfit and car. It's just such a colorful, rad, unapologetic comeback for her. And I love the lyrics. She's like, you say you want me to go back to China? I'm from the south side. You don't know what you're talking about. My favorite lyric, though, is, my eyes so low, but I'ma get higher. Going high, but looking low, not staring at you. Not giving you the attention you crave. Pink Fantasy are doing what they do best with the game. It starts with the Squid Game hide-and-seek song that really sets the mood well before this kind of creepy EDM haunted house vibe takes over, like a haunted rave. And their choreography also continues to impress and embody their very distinct characters. Garni Delia with Oka Rahman. There's a new dance video for it. Another one that's just classic for Maria, where she makes it look so easy to dance along with her. Deceptively simple tutorial of sorts. Probably not easy, especially in her really beautiful outfit with layers to it. A skirt that is trimmed so it comes close to being tripped on, but doesn't reach that point, but looks like it could. It looks risky to try to wear for this dance, as do her giant heeled boots. I'm very impressed with her dance skills practically. And her motions are really fluid and unbothered and just really impressive. She's got a nice stage presence. And the song's a bop. If you want a fun bop with a surprisingly creepy, weird music video with dancers having hair fully cover their faces as they dance and an impressive yet creepy symbol, check out J Soul Brothers III Replay. Lenny Make Something has an underrated new album called Mirror. The main tracks I want to shout out are Where Is the Love and Let Me Go. He's got kind of a Ha Sun Woon-esque vibe to some of his stuff, with the rad bass and the synth layers. A couple of Japanese releases from K-pop girl groups deserve a shout out. ITZY dropped Blah 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 in its music video. Ryujin's dark lipstick with that dark blue hair. Just excellent styling choice. It's just a very classically ITZY song too. Their delivery, their wardrobe, their demeanor, the giant set design. All the classic ITZY elements are there. Love when they keep that for a Japanese release. Similarly, IVE have released a video for the Japanese version of 11. And it's just very aesthetically pleasing. They go full ballet core for it, and they continue to show how well they know how to interact with the camera. With the flirty winks and the group formations, they just know how to command your attention and hold it throughout the video. I think that's why they're called super rookies to many. They didn't take time to grow into that skill. It was there from the get-go. There's also a fun new B-side to go with the 11 Japanese version. It's called Queen of Hearts, and it's a lot of synthy fun. ENHYPEN also have a new Japanese release. So many classics are fun to revisit. And their new album, Sadame, also includes Always, Make the Change, Forget Me Not. They mix Japanese OSTs with original Japanese songs and Japanese versions of Korean hits. The songs that aren't just new versions of old hits, lighter than usual, more just very danceable, light, bouncy pop than I thought. Not a bad thing, just an interesting twist. The dramatic narrative is not really the same as it is for their other releases, but it sure as heck is for the music video. The Japanese version of Future Perfect, the lore, it's so wonderful. The magical powers on display, it's just, I could go on and on about it. Check out my ENHYPEN dedicated episodes and Substack pieces for more about their music video universe, shameless plug, but it's just very safe to say. It's a very exciting continuation of it. There's a new girl group, Triple S. Their Generation video, both just aesthetically and sonically, really reminds me of New Jeans. Big New Jeans energy from Triple S. Go check them out. Acapella group Nareen continue to amaze me with all their covers, but they just released a remake project called RPG Shine. Really deserves your attention. Speaking of underrated co-ed groups, Cardi, K-A-R-D-I, have this intriguing video for Watch Out, to go with their debut EP, where Kim Yeji appears under some kind of spell, like her movements are out of her control. I think it's intentionally a very upsetting horror movie vibe, supposed to be unsettling, but it makes for a very cinematic, dark feel. It's understandable if you can't keep up with Mishima Soshi and Otora's collabs, so the latest that you should get to first, Digital Tattoo. Also, keep tabs on Asaki, spelled 4S4KI, and her Bounce Dance remixes. That's one of her Mishima Soshi collabs, and each remix just goes off as much as the next. City Noise is back with the single Alive, a rather emotional pivot for him. Ready with Ready Action. I personally think the title track should have been Under the Tree. Eruhua has a new EP called The Red Moon. In The Red Moon, this song gives off La La Le by Sunmi vibes. Doyeon and Minha Kim collaborated on a sweet new single, Fallen. Chanmina is back with Mirror. The video for that is a Y2K fashion lookbook mixed with just her lovable in-your-face sass, her perfect for pop-punk attitude, classic Chanmina. Big Hit trainee, No Finale, spelled one word, released his debut R&B pop bop, 5 a.m. He was also a demo vocalist during BTS's Wings era, fun fact. 3 White have released a banger with some really interesting choreography for Into the Light. The orchestra Vitamin String Quartet released a BTS covers album called Vitamin String Quartet Performs BTS. I think my favorite is their version of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. But of course Black Swan is perfect for the orchestral treatment too. And also, I started recently going back to their older covers too. There are some really surprising ones that work well. Fall Out Boy's Thanks for the Memories via an orchestra, surprisingly catchy. One boy group I think is just doing better than ever, DKZ. Their new song is their best to date. It's also their sharpest group formation so far. They're really improving. And the song kind of reminds me of One of Those Nights by Key and Crush. Just saying, it's a good thing. A new K-pop girl group you should check out, Queen's Eye. They released Queen's Table, and the new pair of songs is just very high energy, very catchy. When it comes to J-pop girl groups, Girl Squared with Bye Bye Bye, it's a bop. There are some live concert albums that deserve your attention. iKON released a Japan Tour 2022 live album. Araki released a pair of live singles. And Luz, L-U-Z, one of his August concerts has a live album to go with it now. And Carnival, that really just is next level live. Really wish I could see him in person someday. He has a new single, Roller Skate, and his voice is just as pleasant as ever, and the song is so feel good. J-pop boy group Octopath released a song called It's a Bop, so you know what that means, which gives off major 24K energy, the boy band 24K. One of my J-pop faves, Real, R-E-O-L, has a new classically real jam, Scorpion. Speaking of Japanese icons, Miku Hatsune teamed up with another band I like and never expected her to collab with, Set It Off. Side note, Set It Off's Uncontainable continues to be worthy of the kind of buzz a Panic at the Disco single does, but anyway. So Set It Off and Miku teamed up for Why Do I, and it is way better than you're expecting. Put preconceived notions about Miku aside in any virtual girl and just check it out, it's so good. I like the remixes of aespa's Girls way more than I thought I would. The Minute remix in particular is well done. Q-Man released Analog, a new album that is steeped in nostalgic vibes. Super Dragon's vocals continue to flourish on Honey Baby. Trot artist Yoon Soo-hyun surprised me with how much I find her new single catchy, even though I'm not a huge Trot person. It's called, some versions, the music video I believe is Please Don't Leave Me Alone. The song on Spotify is Guys Don't Leave Me Alone. This is when commas make a world of difference. Is it Guys Don't Leave Me Alone or Guys Don't Leave Me Alone? You get to decide. Because the music video says Please Don't Leave Me Alone, that's probably the meaning she was going for, but it's still fun to just decide for yourself. N-Flying, Dearest. Shout out to J-Don, who produced every track. And all of them really, because they all help produce Shooting Star. The album is very corny but cute, just like the I Like You video. It covers a nice range of styles and rock subgenres in a way, different tempos and speeds too. Each song is very different from the others, and that makes sense because the album encompasses a variety of themes related to adolescence, the highs and lows of feeling things for the first time as you grow up. The way that growing up is both super exciting and super nerve-wracking and prone to big mess-ups. Actually, the Korean title for I Love You translates to Damned, and the opening lyric is I'm in trouble. I think the best song is Monster, which, hear me out, if you listen for it, you might hear what I hear. Monster is kind of like if March by 17 was put at like times 10 the speed. Think about it. Firefly is a nice continuation of Starlight, brings back a similar vibe. Not sure if that was intentional, the nighttime theme songs going so well together sonically, but there you go. Lee Chaeyeon, Hush Rush. I like the concept she's going for. She said it's this vampire who wakes up after 300 years and then tries to act natural in the real world. Definitely a movie plot. The whole concept was very focused on this. Everything incorporated this theme. So you could get the merch option 1, the vibe was modern day social media influencer, or version 2, spooky vampire stuff. It's a nice showcase of her voice. Her voice just really smoothly transitions from song to song. She just coasts through these smooth percussion synth mixtures. I loved hearing the incoming and other signature details in her title track because that made me think, hey, NCT's producer has been busy. I really hope her next comeback keeps this theme going. Lots of story potential here. ITZY, Boys Like You. I don't know how to put this, but ITZY's Boys Like You really to me sounds like it's a very familiar cadence. Maybe like You Belong With Me era Taylor Swift? I don't know. That's as close as I can get to finding a comparison. But something sounds so familiar about Boys Like You. The chorus, it's very, very familiar. So let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is their first big English release, and it is so nice and sassy. They have lyrics about like, you're crying like a baby, but do I look like your mommy? Talking about, don't forget you're the one that tried to get with my friends. The end. You did it to yourself, they keep saying, like, I don't fall for boys like you who are gonna schmooze all my friends. We don't act like that. Sisters before misters kind of a thing. It's a very ITZY message. This was a great choice for ITZY's big English moment, because sometimes groups kind of lose certain things about their signature sound when they cross over for different language releases, and I think some fans thought that about this and were disappointed. But I honestly think this is a very ITZY song. And the theme, the attitude, I think it's very ITZY of them. So I thought it was a smart one to make their big English debut. Plus, it's very catchy. They show off their signature crown pose. Always love that. And they have that fun, confident message. Long story short, they decide they're better off without this guy, leave the Halloween party, and go have a secret party elsewhere, where they continue a karaoke session away from this awful person. They also wear cute preppy outfits. There's just so much to like about this. LOL, Amber. This co-ed J-pop group, honestly, I was getting a bit disappointed by. None of their singles had really been hitting me like Blaze. That was just a classic in the making for them. And this album also, at first, I was hesitant about because there were more ballads than I thought, a slower vibe than I'd hoped for, some kind of cheesy stuff, a lot of piano-backed slower stuff. I just was not feeling the vibe. But they are a prime example of how sometimes if you watch a music video and focus on the single they released before the full album, you're like, you know what, that was enough. That was entertaining enough to kind of cancel out some of the other stuff. Because Magic of a Laugh, incredible song. So fun. And the music video is so fun too. Quite cinematic. It's very kind of, also maybe cheesy, but in an endearing way. It's kind of a Hallmark movie-esque Halloween story in a way. Wizardry fantasy story in a way. Like a TV movie type of thing. They have an impressive choreography for it because it has a lot of clap-along moves. Literally clapping along is the move. A lot of moments where you want to just get up and join them in dancing. Then there are moments where they incorporate props into it, like whipping out some playing cards. And they also impressively keep the dance routine really unpredictable as they zap from scene to scene. The transitions are kind of all over the place. They are just full of surprises with this routine. And then magic starts happening around them. So they dance in this big, fun, fancy mansion in loud, fun, stylish outfits, surrounded by gold pixie dust and zapping from place to place as this mere mortal, this muggle girl, watches. Just delighted by this magic show. I just thought they found a clever way to combine magic in terms of the kind of Tinkerbell vein of magic and magic in terms of the Vegas gig type of performative stuff. The stereotypical view of a magic trick mixed with literal fairy type magic mixed with other, just an assortment of influences with different types of magic that's clear. And the video is interesting because it's almost like it was all in her head, where it starts out where the girl is getting her fortune told by this eerie hooded figure, then suddenly is transported into this magical world with all the pixie dust and fun dance moves, this inviting party scene, and then ends where she's back outside the building alone. No trace of this hooded guy or his fortune-telling cards, like it never happened. So it's kind of a fun, was that all a dream? I don't know what's going on premise. The song itself is also kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Like the marching band went way off script and decided to just wing it, trying out a bunch of different sound effects, a bunch of off script ideas put together to create something, again, just super fun. Baekho, Absolute Zero. It's a clever theme for an album because he said the overall theme is temperature change, and that's symbolic of a changing relationship that keeps evolving in different ways, but also in physics, absolute zero is a term for lack of heat or motion, so it's a dual meaning there. There's quite a variety on here. There's a dark, synthy/rockish festival in my car. There's the neutro sound of We Don't Care No More, which actually features June 1 of this underrated group, Glenn Check. There's some synthy grooves, R&B vibes elsewhere, but also rockish tilted stuff. And I like that he kept the heavy autotune usage for last, because the start of the album should be his true just vocal talent, to pique listeners' interest. If he started out right away with the autotune, people would be turned off and now listen to the rest. So the tracklist order was smart. Starting with Festival in My Car, that gets your attention. Classy, Day and Night. This pair of singles impresses me for how it shows off their total confidence and still makes room for admitting to their vulnerable side. So Zealous, that song is all confident. It's megaphones, it's bright colors, loud in-your-face energy, it's baseball bats, it's we are here making a scene. Tick Tick Boom is similar, where they're having a mini dance-off of sorts, they're getting ready for a big audition, But this is following some voiceover narrations of the members feeling like they were at personal low points, personal peaks when it comes to being doubtful, insecure, nervous about their futures. So they reflect on taking this big leap of faith to pursue music before diving into their successful auditions. So it's like, here's where we came from, and look at us now. So it's a cool duality, thematically on par with them singing about shutting it down on their debut. As for the best English language releases of the month, I gotta give a shout out to my favorite just English language entirely band, Palais Royale with Fever Dream. They've done it again. Lolo Zue continues to give me so much fun, goofy in a good way, hyperpop joy with Playgirl. My favorites on there are probably Playgirl and Gummy Bear. Dove Cameron's Bad Idea is a good idea to listen to. Sorry for that joke, but she really just has a great follow-up there. And I really surprised myself with how much I like this song, truly. You're gonna judge it at first. You're gonna be like, I don't know about that. A music career, is that even a good idea for her? Was she just handed that? I don't know, this song really just kind of got to me. Definitely going for an Olivia Rodrigo vibe. Not as good as Olivia Rodrigo's singles, but you know what I mean. I was very surprised how much I thought this was worth checking out. Charlie D'Amelio's If You Ask Me To. That is all for me today. My corresponding write-ups about these albums are on howtostand.substack.com or will be very shortly after you listen to this. So stay tuned for that. I'll make sure it's a free post. So thank you all so much for tuning in as usual. Happy listening, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye, everybody.